You know, people don't have to say it. They can feel it.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at actors who have stunk up the big screen more often than not. We're only considering film performances here, so TV appearances don't count.
June and I don't get much action, so we take what we can get.
Number 30, Jessica Simpson. Known for her breakthrough as a teen singer and her much-publicized marriage to Nick Lachey, Jessica Simpson tried her hand at acting in the aughts. While the Dukes of Hazzard film is no critical darling, reviewers gave Simpson's turn as Daisy Duke a particular lashing.
Two cute cops growing trees around here, or what?
I like, push-ups kind of for you to notice. Let me see what's going on under your hood.
Okay. Oops.
Damn, that's hot.
Here, maybe this will help.
Following up with equally lackluster films like Employee of the Month and Blonde Ambition did her no favors. Many critics found that Simpson had a one-note delivery and limited range. It shouldn't come as a surprise that she hasn't appeared in any movie since 2008's direct-to-video film Private Valentine, Blonde and Dangerous.
Hey, Evans. I expect that back.
Number 29, Katie Holmes. To be clear, we aren't going after Katie Holmes' performance in Dawson's Creek, which made her a household name, but the actress majorly missed the mark on the big screen. Although a role in Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins looks solid on paper, Holmes ended up with a Golden Raspberry nomination for Worst Supporting Actress.
I never stopped thinking about you. About us. And when I heard you were back, I started to hope.
Giving up her role in its sequel, The Dark Knight, to be in the critical flop Mad Money wasn't one of Holmes' best decisions. If you think that's bad, she also starred in even more terribly received films like Jack and Jill and Days and Nights.
I wanted a baby.
You have a baby.
While Holmes' acting isn't the worst thing about these movies, we can't call her a bright spot in them either. Number 28, Megan Fox.
Wow, look who's here. I'd stay and chat, but I don't want to stay and chat.
Talk about being typecast. Hollywood seems to have only two roles for Megan Fox: the mean rival to the likable protagonist, or the sexy love interest who doesn't do much else.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm a friend of Sam's.
Gosh, you're gorgeous.
Oh, she can hear you talking, Mom.
Thank you.
Even movies like Jennifer's Body feature Fox in a combination of the two. Over a decades-long career, Fox hasn't really succeeded in breaking out from the stereotype. Instead, the actress doubled down on it with films like Subservience and Expendables 4, the latter winning Fox her third Golden Raspberry Award.
I'm sorry, is that it? Are we done talking? Are you done with this conversation?
Conversation? It's more like angry chatter.
To her credit, sticking to what works for her has led to mainstream success. Number 27, Jennifer Lopez. It isn't every day you see a multi-time Golden Globe nominee on a worst list, but you also don't usually see said actor making turkey noises in a $75 million movie.
It's turkey time.
Huh?
Gobble, gobble.
Plus, J-Lo has a lot more misses than hits in her filmography. From history-making flops like Geely to critical duds like Monster-in-Law, Lopez's film choices have been far from perfect. Given her prominence in the music scene, it's easy to forget she began her career as an actress.
I was thinking maybe the three of us could go to lunch tomorrow. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's a great idea, too. I'll make reservations. It'll be so much fun. Don't you just love being girlfriends?
Her rom-com ventures have connected with audiences, but critical praise remains a distant dream. With all this in mind, J-Lo's 10 Razzie Award nominations make a lot of sense. Number 26, Kate Upton. Remember when Kate Upton was all the rage in the 2010s? Channeling her appeal to the big screen was a smart move on the supermodel's part. There was only one problem: her acting. After a couple of bit parts, Upton made her leading debut in the 2014 film The Other Woman.
You must hate me so much right now, but if it's any consolation right now, I hate me more.
Considering she plays a swimsuit supermodel in the film, Upton didn't really need to flex her acting muscles with this role. Still, the film's commercial success managed to cover up any shortcomings. Her follow-up feature, The Layover, wasn't so fortunate. With a 0% Rotten Tomatoes rating, the only funny thing about this comedy is how hilariously bad it is. Upton since phased acting out of her repertoire, which we don't blame her for.
What's with you?
Oh. We have to stop. This is insane. You're the most important person in my life. You know that, right? I'm not gonna throw that away for some doofus. I mean, geez, right?
Number 25. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Mainly known for his music industry success, this rapper has also maintained an acting career since the aughts. Then again, he's stuck to films with ensemble casts, so 50 Cent's presence can sometimes be forgotten.
Is that an axe?
No, it's a snow shovel.
That makes sense. Not for humanity, but for you it makes sense.
With action franchises like Escape Plan or the occasional drama film, it's a safe bet that Jackson will be playing some variation of a guy who doesn't play by the rules. He seldom stands out in the cast, and more often than not feels like he's there to make up the numbers. While you can admire his tenacity, he's gone decades without delivering any particularly memorable role.
If Ray's anywhere, it's here.
Where is here?
That's the bad news. I don't know.
A lack of evolution and depth means Jackson's film career remains largely forgettable. Number 24. Justin Timberlake.
I founded Napster.
Sean Parker founded Napster.
Nice to meet you.
You're Sean Parker?
Aha! You see, the shoe's on the other,
foot.
Table, which is turned.
I just slept with Sean Parker.
You just slipped on Sean Parker.
Another singer-turned-actor, Timberlake's filmography is riddled with hits and misses. For every solid effort, like The Social Network, there's an embarrassing entry like The Love Guru.
I know we are rivals, but fate chose these sides, not us. So, before you take this shot, I just need to say, damn.
Timberlake gets by when surrounded by stronger actors. When he's the main star, though, his weaknesses are harder to ignore. Films like Bad Teacher and In Time may have done well, but you can't really credit Timberlake's acting for their success.
I'm gonna need some of that time you borrowed from me. Unless you want us to die on the way to our execution.
It doesn't help that he seems to act the same way in different genres. Timberlake has arguably fared better as a voice actor since the 2010s.
And if you want it inside your soul, just open up your heart, let music take control.
Number 23. Tyler Perry. If there is one actor who's constantly defied bad reviews, it's Tyler Perry. By now, it's clear that the trade-off for his commercial success is starring in less than stellar productions. As of 2024, only one film featuring Perry's Medea character has ever earned a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
With an attitude like that, you're gonna be by yourself all your life. Ain't nobody gonna wanna be around that.
Maybe I don't want nobody around me.
Yeah, Medea won't flies around her. Every time she goes somewhere, flies be flying around her.
Aside from a few exceptions, like 2014's Gone Girl, most of Perry's other films have drawn criticism. Sure, the actor's willingness to remain in a one-note performance bubble has translated to box office numbers, but he's also experienced a simultaneous hit to his reputation as an actor.
You saw a clown?
Yes.
What it look like?
Oh, dirty looking clown! It's a crazy looking clown!
I saw one upstairs in the attic, too.
I'm looking at 3 damn clowns. Put y'all 3 side by side, you shaped like a 101. Get the hell on up out of here.
Joe, I'm telling you, there's something in this house. I gotta get out of here.
Number 22. Cara Delevingne. You can't say Cara Delevingne hasn't tried to work her way around the cinematic landscape. From big-budget action films to indie dramas, the model-turned-actress has tried a range of roles, but instead of making a major impact, the most she's managed is a slight tremor.
And there is Jace's car.
Margaret, this is a bad idea.
No, Quentin. This is a tremendous idea.
Whether she's playing the manic pixie dream girl in Paper Towns or the otherworldly villain Enchantress in Suicide Squad, many critics find that she lacks believability. Without a spicy supporting part or a lead role that captivates audiences, she's built up a list of credits with little in terms of acclaim to show for it.
Please, please. I'm sorry. I can't do that again.
Flag, get her out of here.
Delevingne has focused her attention on TV ventures, and only time will tell if she reinvents herself on the big screen. Number 21. Larry the Cable Guy.
Hey everybody, folks. My name's Larry and I'm your server.
We might be playing fast and loose by referring to this comedian as an actor, given that he almost always plays himself on screen. Even his best-known role as Mater in Cars is basically Larry the Cable Guy if he were an automobile. While you might argue that Larry the Cable Guy is a persona that Daniel Lawrence Whitney plays, it still shows his range is limited. The character took him farther than what many probably expected. He appeared in several films during the 2000s and 2010s, but if his southern blue-collar gimmick isn't your thing, then watching him on screen can feel like a really long joke with no punchline.
I think you guys forgot what our orders are. We're supposed to bring freedom and democracy to people that need it. I think these people need it.
Number 20. Dane Cook. Comedian Dane Cook took the world by storm in the 2000s as one of the first performers to use MySpace to gain fame.
He had some chances before that to act opposite Dennis Rodman in the movie Simon Says, which showed off his habit of overacting.
Great, then all we have to do is come up with a plan.
No, I will work on the plan.
With increased attention for his comedy specials, Cook naturally received more opportunities to star in films. These included comedies such as Employee of the Month and Good Luck Chuck, which largely were considered lackluster rom-coms. The actor didn't attract the same attention as his stage performances and was somewhat constrained by the scripts he was given. Controversies, including accusations of joke theft, followed him into the 2010s, when his screen parts started to slow down.
Grandma, I think it's time that you invest in something a little less speculative.
You really think I should take financial advice from you?
1-0, Grandma.
Number 19. Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian and her family have spent over a decade on the cover of tabloids, often earning the title famous for being famous. Sometimes people forget that there was a time when she was more involved with making films. These might not have been substantial, but projects like Disaster Movie didn't inspire confidence in her as a commanding screen presence.
Ow! Come on, crackhead Winehouse, Crystal Skull, you sound like a crazy man.
She's also worked with Tyler Perry in Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. It's another supporting role that doesn't sell the celebrity as a natural actor, instead proving she's more uninterested in her performance style. Kardashian largely focuses on her business ventures these days and steers clear of cinematic pursuits.
No, I don't. I have a degree.
Do. A degree?
Yes.
A degree on the wall without labels on your back is nothing.
Number 18. Neil Breen. He doesn't quite fit into the mainstream, but Neil Breen has amassed a fan base all his own for some outrageous acting. Breen is actually an architect, and his film work represents a passionate hobby that's been realized over the course of several movies.
Oh my God.
His efforts have garnered terrible reviews, and that's putting it mildly. The performer certainly shows that he's an amateur, never able to sell any script or direct himself in a proper fashion. This doesn't even count his productions, which feature a wide array of ineffective elements, such as poor editing, sound, and casting choices. All this is to say, the artist needs to be seen to be believed.
I've got so much to do, I'll never get done. I'm going to continue hacking into these government systems to see what I can find out.
Number 17. Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is arguably the most famous writer-director working today, creating cinema that blends entertaining dialogue with exciting genre elements. His talents as a filmmaker don't necessarily carry over into the acting realm.
She comes home from work in about an hour and a half. Graveyard shift at the hospital.
While he has a history of performing in some of his movies, they're largely supporting roles that distract audiences. He doesn't fit in with the tough guys in Reservoir Dogs, or add much to his masterpiece Pulp Fiction, other than some awkward line deliveries. His turn as an Australian in Django Unchained is definitely his least effective performance, taking away from the enjoyable film's final act. After completing the 2012 Western, he's avoided spending much time in front of the camera.
Said a white boy.
Shut up, Black. You ain't got nothing to say I want to hear.
Number 16. Tara Reid. Following roles in movies like The Big Lebowski, Tara Reid first established herself as a star in the first entry of the American Pie series.
When he's ready and I'm ready. It's gotta be completely perfect. I want the right time, the right moment, the right place.
She often finds herself in shallow parts that fail to set her apart from any number of actresses in her generation. Reid's appearance in the Sharknado series provides some laughs at her expense, especially when she gets the chance to fumble her way through an action sequence. Her film career did receive a small boost from the return of her Vicky character in American Reunion. There doesn't seem to be a significant comeback in her immediate future, but she's taken to lower budget movies in the meantime.
I'm glad you think so highly of me.
Number 15. Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba was almost everywhere in the 2000s, appearing in films that spanned multiple genres and put her on Hollywood's A-list. The actress was part of 2 Fantastic Four entries that received mixed reviews, with her work as Susan Storm being an example of her blander than engaging efforts.
It has to be the cloud. It's fundamentally altered our DNA.
Let's not jump to conclusions. We need a massive amount of evidence before making that leap.
Whoa! Her role in the comedy The Love Guru might have been a critical low point for her career. It was a notable misfire all around, including the fact that Alba isn't really known for her comedic abilities. The actress finally looked beyond her film work and started a massively successful business called The Honest Company.
I mean, I didn't even ask for this job. I guess it's just my fate.
Fate is a joke.
Number 14. Rob Schneider. Following his exit from Saturday Night Live, Rob Schneider has often appeared in many supporting roles in Adam Sandler comedies. He often plays goofy characters that don't necessarily deserve their own film. With Schneider's solo efforts, he's attempted leading parts that feel unsubstantial and lacking in the hilarity department.
Now that's good badger milk.
The animal taps into his primal side, but doesn't give him much of a chance to shine. His other films, like The Hot Chick and Deuce Bigalow Male Gigolo, have aged poorly and feature the performer in mediocre scripts. Contemporaries like Sandler find a way to play characters for an entire movie, but Schneider has largely been unable to provide a compelling or truly likable performance on his own.
How'd you get that job?
I just kinda fell into it.
I'm gonna kill my guidance counselor.
Number 13. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan is known as one of the more gifted and imaginative filmmakers of the late 1990s and early 2000s. He's made a wide array of horror films and thrillers that have been greatly acclaimed and/or successful.
I see dead people.
Shyamalan also starred in a number of his projects in roles that many people find distracting or downright bad. If there is a definitive part of his movies that people don't love, it ends up being one of his cameos that feels somewhat self-aggrandizing and take away from the larger production. The director keeps the small roles coming without an end in sight, but at least he avoids playing the main character.
I guess if this is the end of the world, I'm screwed, right? People who kill reverends' wives aren't exactly ushered to the front of the line in heaven.
Number 12. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Nobody would argue that Jean-Claude Van Damme isn't tough. The Belgian fighter clearly proved himself as an entertaining brawler in many films, although he never really established himself as a serious actor.
Aren't you a little young for full contact?
Aren't you a little old for video games?
There's nothing wrong with this fact, but it has produced some mediocre acting work from him. Movies such as Bloodsport don't exactly contain an award-winning performance. In over-the-top adventures such as Street Fighter, Van Damme feels right at home as a guy who is not bound by the method or technique of any kind. His projects might be exciting, but they never convince the audience that the star is all that emotionally invested in the story.
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Number 11. Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith started acting at a young age, starring alongside his father Will in films of all kinds. It's fair to say that he was much younger and less in control of his career than other actors on this list. This doesn't necessarily mean that he's off the hook either, but he does enter into the nepotism debate.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. Alright?
He's playing a regular kid without any kind of spark in various movies that include the remake of The Karate Kid. Some of the efforts with his dad seem as if he was dragged along, not necessarily invested in the experience. Later work such as After Earth captures him as an awkward teenager in a project that asks too much of him.
I was not advanced to Ranger.
You were not advanced to Ranger.
I was not advanced to Ranger, sir.
Number 10. Taylor Lautner. Starring as Jacob in the Twilight films, Taylor Lautner went from a working actor to a teen heartthrob almost overnight. Lautner's turn as the werewolf spanned several sequels that didn't receive great reviews.
I kissed Bella. And she broke her hand, punching my face.
He was essentially just a pawn in a soap opera, never taken seriously as an actor during the height of his success. The performer spent the remaining 2010s trying to break out from the stigma of the series, with a mix of rom-coms and action flicks. In Abduction, he attempted to break out of the teen idol status, and mostly felt out of place in a more of a thrilling setting. His place in Hollywood was uncertain after he was dubbed as a physical presence, rather than a nuanced artist.
So I had to wait 4 years for you to ask me out?
Yeah. But you gotta admit, it was one pretty exciting first date.
Number 9. Madonna. Rising through the 1980s as a certified pop star, Madonna was a force to be reckoned with on the Billboard charts. She's tried different roles in movies over the years, from concerts to fictional films. The singer even played a performer in Dick Tracy, in a part that wasn't a huge stretch for her.
Hey! That was a silly thing to do. He's the best piano player in town.
Shut up! It's especially difficult to be hugely famous in one medium, and then be convincing in another. Projects like Swept Away are hard to watch without being painfully aware that the vocalist is super famous and trying to become a character. Even her cameo in Die Another Day functions more as a parody than any sort of serious film appearance.
I see you handle your weapon well.
I have been known to keep my tip up.
Number 8. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal spent the 1990s and 2000s dominating in the NBA, winning multiple championship rings for teams like the Los Angeles Lakers. He also ventured into music and movies that received ridicule at the time. With few exceptions, his star vehicles like Kazam felt like a poor showcase of his charisma.
Who dare to wake me?
O'Neal has a natural ability and showmanship on the court that never translated to the screen. Regardless of the genre, the player felt out of place in everything from superhero films to Adam Sandler comedies. He makes occasional appearances to this day, but usually at his own expense in a self-aware parody of his acting abilities.
Now, who's that sorry wannabe that disturbed my Z's?
Number 7. Jamie Kennedy. Taking a wide range of supporting roles in the 1990s, Jamie Kennedy came to prominence as a comedian and comic relief character in many films. His most popular role arrived with his appearances in the Scream series.
Jesus Christ, you don't know the rules?
Have an aneurysm, why don't you?
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
After leaving the horror franchise, Kennedy spent the 2000s exploring comedy with mixed results. It could be argued that his stock in Hollywood dropped with Son of the Mask. The sequel received terrible reviews, and the actor seemed to be miscast in a poor continuation of The Mask, unable to match Jim Carrey's original energy or likability. Some people enjoy his work in Malibu's Most Wanted, but the performer never quite had the comedic gravitas of a leading man.
Hey, yo, Krista the barista, put on my cam and throw in a white chip macadamia nizza cookie, too.
Number 6. Hulk Hogan. For most wrestling fans, Hulk Hogan represents an entire era of entertainment with his wild personality.
To all my love slaves out there, Thunder Lips is here. In the flesh, baby.
His appearances in movies are definitely not held to the same standard. Next to his brief role in Rocky III, most of his other work attempts to either put him up as an action hero or as a friend to small children. Unsurprisingly, his chaotic persona in the ring doesn't always make for the greatest use on screen. It also doesn't quite work when he plays some kind of unconventional babysitter. Hogan's roles in Mr. Nanny and other 1990s movies come off as an attempt to pander to younger audiences.
Now put the hat on, or I'll scream!
Scream all you want. No way I'm wearing that thing.
Number 5. Tom Green. Tom Green is a unique comedy figure that defies normal exclamation points with some believing him to be a genius that inspired all kinds of alternate and anti-comedy icons in the 2000s.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages, sausages!
Others feel that he's a bizarre and off-putting presence in any of his films. Many of his harshest critics cite Freddy Got Fingered as the nail in the coffin for his viable film career. While it wasn't the end for Green, the gross-out comedy defies the limits of good taste and was provocative in a way that many people found to be negative. His particular brand of humor and aggressive techniques have made some friends and enemies out of many audience members.
I figured we could have a little breakfast, and then maybe, after, we could have a little Chad.
Number 4. Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore splashed onto the comedy scene in the early 1990s with a string of hit films. His entire persona revolved around a stoner/surfer motif that many people found to be one note.
It's not happening, Dave. I'm sorry, that's not how it works with friends, man. You don't bag your friends just because they get in your way, no matter what, dude.
Movies like Biodome and Encino Man saw success in their day, but haven't really made much of an impact past their initial release. Shore has a personality that can be grating to some and hilarious to others. The performer uses a unique vocal cry and delivery, which he employs for every single one of his projects, never veering too far from a similar setup of playing dumb characters.
Excuse me, miss, are you tired?
I beg your pardon?
Are you tired?
No, why?
Because you've been running through my mind all day?
Number 3. Paris Hilton. In the 2000s, hotel heiress Paris Hilton became a widely known celebrity. This led to her near-ubiquitous presence in the entertainment industry, including a somewhat unconventional film career. Hilton starred in the horror remake House of Wax, playing one of the many victims in a largely forgettable role.
Carly, don't even think about not going. I'm not. Good. Because you know how proud I am of you.
It's just an internship at InStyle magazine. Or would you rather stay at the Waffle House as a waitress forever?
The main problem with her acting is that she has a monotone quality and doesn't seem very interested in the material. She also starred in one of the worst movies of the decade, entitled The Hottie and the Naughty. It tried to present her as a version of the blonde stereotype, with some offensive jokes thrown into the mix. Most people would argue that her singing career was much more engaging than anything she did on film.
In all through school, I went out with practically any guy who asked. I didn't know the meaning of the word no.
Number 2. Steven Seagal. Along with some questionable connections to Vladimir Putin, actor Steven Seagal has made a handful of mistakes in his cinematic career. He might just beat us up for writing this, but we're pretty sure he's been eclipsed by much better action stars at every turn.
So who are you? Are you like some special forces guy or something?
I'm just a cook.
A cook?
Just a lowly cook.
Some of his acting sounds like whispering in several scenes that will make you turn up the volume. When he's trying to fight, he doesn't seem to bring much energy to the sequences themselves. His arrogance allegedly extended to behind-the-scenes stories, as many people have acknowledged him as a difficult collaborator.
I have a warrant for the arrest of Warren Hanner, and I need to serve that warrant. I'm sure he's right back there.
I let you in, I lose my job.
Well, that'd be better than losing your teeth, don't you think?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Tommy Wiseau. Tommy Wiseau is the director, writer, and lead actor in The Room. He's also become a cult figure for his work on the film, which remains a midnight movie staple around the US. Wiseau plays Johnny in a role that's full of eccentric acting choices.
You're scaring me.
You are lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
His line deliveries are the stuff of legend, making viewers question their own sanity during some scenes. He famously walks out onto the roof in a legendary line that includes an unbelievable non sequitur.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
The entire experience inspired a book by co-star Greg Sestero, which describes the bizarre tale of working with a performer. It's clear from each individual set piece that the man is making the most unique choice he can at any given moment.
Thank you, honey. This is a beautiful party. You invited all my friends. Good thinking.
Is there a bad actor who makes you want to walk out? Let us know in the comments.
You must stop!
You are bad actors!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.